Well, hello everybody, BugEater64 here again, and today we are going to be flying in XPlane12. We're going to be flying the Rotate MD11, and much more intricate aircraft in this sim than it is in Microsoft, but we're going to give it a flight. You can see she's got my livery on her, and we'll get in the cockpit and we'll get going here. Now, unfortunately, during this flight, there was, once I landed, and you'll see it, I went to do the replays so you could see the exterior views of the takeoff and the landing, and XPlane12 crashed. Went straight back to desktop. So, sent off one of the reports to Laminar Research, and since then, because I've been working on this a couple days, there have been 2 updates to XPlane12. So we're going to try that again when we fly from, because we're still working to get this aircraft back to home base at Greenville Spartanburg International, and we'll be trying to do those landing takeoff replays again. We'll see how it goes. But that being said, we're going to get inside the cockpit. We'll get her flight ready and get going. So see you inside. Okay, so here we are at LAX. I'm sorry. Yep, we're at LAX. I'm getting ready to go to Dallas-Fort Worth. Pretty day to be flying, and we've got ground power, so we'll finish getting the aircraft set up here. As the ground crew finishes up their work.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Very good. Yeah, we've got the power all hooked up on the aircraft, and she's getting ready. Okay, everything looks good there. So let's go ahead. One of the things I'm having with the Rotate is that sometimes the lighting is hard to figure out. It just doesn't show up much outside. But we'll go ahead.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted.
Release parking brake released.
Starting pushback. And you may start engine.
Okay, we're going to start in the proper sequence. We're going to start with engine 3, but before you can do that, you really have to turn on the ignition power, which is over to the left. No, that's already done. Getting myself confused here. Hey, Bill Dummy, look over to the left where it says engine ignition. Ah, yeah, click on that. Now we can start the engines.
Hey, quit blinding me with your taxi light. Turn it off.
Okay, let's try this again. Engine 3, start. Okay, it lights up, means we're going to start the engine, and we'll wait for N2 to get to 15. There you go. It'll start up. Okay, we're pushed back enough. I think we can go ahead and cancel that. See, the nav light should be on, the beacon should be on, and the high intensity should be on. None excuse me. None of it is actually showing.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
All right, parking brake on.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
All right, let's go ahead and engine 1. Fuel introduced, and it is spooling up nicely.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
And engine number 2. So once we get it up, we'll do some checks here just to make sure everything is set properly with our flaps and auto brake system. Make sure it is turned off. Set our stabilizer and I believe it's supposed to be 5.5. But it's in the green, so we're good to go. Stabilizer trim is good. Okay. Let's dial in our flaps. And 15, so it's good to go. So flaps are set. Auto brakes to take off. Radios are set. FMC is set. Okay, with that we can go ahead and turn off the APU. Seatbelt, smoking is in auto. The engine's running, turn the ignition off. Okay, everything is looking good up top. We're gonna make everybody mad. We turn all the lights on. Now, right in front of the wing, you see a door towards the bottom of the fuselage. For some reason, there is no switch, nothing to turn or to close that door. It is always open on this version. I'm hoping Rotate fixed that. Or can explain to me why it is open. But in the sim, it doesn't affect anything. It's just a glitch with this particular aircraft. So, that being said, we should be just about ready to start our taxi. And we'll make sure all the lights are on for the panels. Brake released. And we've got a fairly long taxi, so and the ignition switch is supposed to still be armed. Okay. So we are good to go now. So let's get down to the end of the runway so we can finish and get ready to go. Get ready to fly out of Southern California, Los Angeles International Airport, and be on our way to Dallas-Fort Worth, which is just over 1,000 miles. So here we are at the end of the runway, holding short. We will finish our final checks. Okay, so let's go down here. That's looking good. Let's look at our nothing there and the consequence. Let's go to config, and we can see that our flaps are set up 15. Our trim for the stabilizer is set at 6.5. It's actually supposed to be at 6.1, I believe. Yep, there we go. We got it in place. All right, so let's go ahead and finish. Okay. Get our heading set. At 251. Okay. And we'll go ahead and get all right. So and you may have noticed that I made an error. It's not like I ever make mistakes, but I did in error set my altitude. Instead of 35,000, I set it to 3,500. That's a mistake I can live with, because I can fix it once we take off. And I realize it. So we're going to go ahead and move out onto the runway, and then we'll get this girl into the air. And the one thing with the XPlane12 that they still really need to work on is if you don't have third-party scenery involved, a lot of this, once you get in the air or even on airports, it can't come close to what you get in Microsoft. But I fly primarily 3 different simulations. DCS for all my military aircraft and operations, and then whether I fly DC or pimp on the aircraft determines its availability or who has the best model, whether I fly X-plane. Here we go. I didn't, yeah, okay. Again, forgot to arm the spoilers. Make sure they were safe. Anyway, or between X-plane and the Microsoft Sims. Yeah. Keep going, girl. And we are at rotate, positive rate, gear up.
Terrain.
Okay, so we can look around here. And let's get boogieing. Get to Dallas.
Stabilizer motion. Altitude.
At 1,000 feet to our altitude.
Stabilizer motion.
Okay, so we are on approach now, and we're getting too low. Because I was in air once again and had lowered the altitude way too low. So, saved the aircraft, gained a little altitude, so now we're on approach.
Terrain, sink rate, sink rate, sink rate.
Keep talking to yourself.
Sink rate, sink rate, sink rate.
Yeah. Then I realized we're a little bit high. So here we are on final.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
The autopilot is off. The aircraft is mine.
Autopilot. 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 500. Autopilot. 400.
Sink rate, sink rate.
Attention all aircraft. Dallas Fort Worth International altimeter 29073.
Sink.
20.
Touchdown. So we're here now, and I'm trying to
Autopilot.
get the or the reverse to work for the throttles, and they're not.
Autopilot. Autopilot. Autopilot.
And I should have
Autopilot.
turned off. Yeah, I'm trying to get the reversers to work, and there we go.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
And trying to keep it on the runway. So, like I said, it wasn't pretty, but we got down safe.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
And I tried to turn off that alarm, not realizing that if I'd flipped the autopilot switches up, that would have done the trick. So, as you can tell, I got a lot to learn about this airplane.
Autopilot. Autopilot. Autopilot.
But we're down safe. Everything went okay. We're going to get to a parking spot quickly here.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
Clean up everything.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
And that should have turned that off.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
Don't understand that.
Autopilot.
And she is noisy.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
So anyway, we got her down.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Didn't break anything. Like I said, it wasn't the prettiest landing.
Autopilot.
And I've still got to work on some things with my HOTOS
Autopilot.
to make sure it works better
Autopilot.
with the settings for this airplane.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Boy, she's annoying.
Autopilot. 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 Autopilot.
She's still screaming, and we got the parking brake set.
Autopilot.
So we're going to end the flight,
Autopilot.
and we end up making overall about
Autopilot. Autopilot. Autopilot.
$2 million for this flight. Hard landing, so yeah.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
So exit, and that's it.
Autopilot.
All right, well, flight complete. landing wasn't the prettiest I ever made. Ended up being minus 901 feet per minute on the touchdown. So not my best flight, the best landing by any means. And it got a little squirrely because I was having problems getting my reversers to work. Now, that's not a problem with the sim. That's a problem with my HOTAS setup. And so I'm going to have to double check that for the future flight. Other than that, well, I mean, it took a while. That's why I was looking around at the pedestal while we're going down the runway and having a hard time keeping it going in a straight line. So sorry about all that, but it made for an interesting hectic landing, and we finally got the reversers working and were able to stop before we got to the end of the runway. And I was really worried that wasn't going to be the case, but we did get it done. And so I hope you enjoyed it and I had fun watching it. And until next time, this is Bug Eater 64. And remember, as always, safe flying.